Whoa, seeing. All right. Welcome to the Real HD Show. This is the show that you'll find on many airwaves, giving that in depth analysis of the good, the bad, the ugly of our people. And we do it through what? We do it through freedom music. And when the freedom music occurs 7:30 to 8 o'clock in our back channel. We pop this up. You hit the link and we can rock out to all that soulful music, all that, motivational hip hop, all that real feel good stuff. We might play some Roy Ayers, Summer Madness. We might play some PE Fight the Power. We might play some Latifah. We might even go to some Rock. We might go to all kinds of spaces and places. We are the Real HD Show. I am your host. The Real HD Show stands for the higher discussion. I'm here, you're there. You could have been anywhere with us on a hump day night, but you chose to rock out here on the Real HD Show. Let's get to paying some bills before we get into too far into the show. Here we go. Please like, share, and subscribe to the show. Tell a friend it's them again with adrenaline. We are the Real HD Show, the higher discussion. Like, share, subscribe, comment, turn on your notifications so every time the Real HD Show comes on, you can join us and we can have a higher discussion. Also, please go and mob Total Package Energy, melanated company, Olympic tested, people approved. They got all natural supplements for that 5 o'clock, 3 o'clock crash that will keep you going. You know, we all feel a little sluggish from time to time, or we're on the job, or you get off the job and then you got to pick up the kids or deal with your parents or whatever you got going on. We may have a whole second life after work. Total Package Energy will get you where you need to go. They got waters, gels, uh, waters, gels, vitamins. They got all kind of supplements that you can, better than Gatorade or Red Bull or any of that stuff. Go to totalpackageenergy.com. Tell them the Real HD Show sent you. Also, bring 5 fans to the Real HD Show, courtesy of yourself, and you will win a 4-day, 3-night vacation to a U.S. or Caribbean destination of your choice, courtesy of Redeem Vacations and the Real HD Show. One more again, please, with lots of cheese, give to our Cash App fundraiser for our sync license. That allows us to bring the freedom music half hour out of the underground and into the foreground so that you can enjoy it like we used to. We want to be able to give you the full range of music and awareness that we always do on the Real HD Show. You have tuned into the Vic. This is your man. This is the Real HD Show. So let's have a higher discussion. And with us already is Sister Aurora. What's happening, sis? How you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm
Good.
glad. I'm glad we got to meet, and I'm glad
Mhm.
Godspeed gave you the link. That's my brethren. That's my chosen brother. So I'm glad he decided to share with you, and you could rock out with us. And before we get too far into the show about all the Wild West news, and there's a lot of Wild West
Not
news
a
out
Wild
there.
Wild West.
Yeah, we living in the Wild West for sure. What we always do is we like to give back and honor the ancestors, and we do that with our ancestors and elders blueprint. And before we get into the ancestors and elders blueprint, that's the call link for the show. That's how Sister Aurora is able to be on the show with us tonight. That's how you can be on the show with us tonight. StreamYard.com, ZBQTDS42T. Put it in your address bar. You come backstage. I pull you up. You get to rock out and have a higher discussion with us. But for right now, we're going to get into our elders and ancestors blueprint segment on the Real HD Show. And the first thing we're going to get into is a brother that not a lot of people know about. We know about Paul Robeson. We know about Lorraine Hansberry. We know about Langston Hughes. We know about Duke Ellington. But we don't know about the brother that helped coordinate most of their activities within the Harlem Renaissance. And I'm talking about none other than Aaron Douglas. And we're going to pull up a video about Brother Douglas right now. on the Real HD Show, and then we'll have a higher discussion about it when we're done. So we want to see you join us. You can even come backstage with us, or you can tap in with us on the comments, and we can have a higher discussion about Brothers Douglas' contribution to our people on the Real HD Show. Check it out. Give me a second, brothers and sisters, to pull this up, and we will get to it like we're supposed to. Let's see. Okay. Where is it at? Desktop. Let's go there. Let's go down, and we have got it. All right, check it out. Paul Douglas, Real HD Show. Check it out.
I'd like to introduce you to famous painter Aaron Douglas. Aaron Douglas was born on May 26, 1899, and grew up in Topeka, Kansas. He was recognized in high school for being extremely talented in art and went on to college to study art as a young man. Aaron Douglas was an artist during the Harlem Renaissance, a time period during the 1920s and 1930s when African American art and culture was thriving, especially in the community of Harlem in New York City. Due to unfair laws in the 1920s and 30s, life was not easy for African Americans here in America. Before the Harlem Renaissance, art, music, writing, and theater mostly told the stories of white people and did not include African Americans, which was really unfair. The African American leaders of the Harlem Renaissance really helped pave the way for African American arts to really come to life. Artists during the Harlem Renaissance were proud of their culture and proud to create art about their lives. It was time to celebrate their joys and tell their stories about what life was like for them in America. Aaron Douglas was a leading figure in the Harlem Renaissance. He created art that had personal meaning to the African American community, and he influenced other young African American artists to create art that had the power to inspire and help create a better world for them. When we look at his work, there are some characteristics that we see over and over again. He tells the story of African American life through his art, from times of hardship to times of happiness, discovery, and joy. Some other characteristics of his work are his use of shapes and lines. He even overlaps some of his shapes and lines to create new shapes. I also noticed that he uses colors that are similar, like we see here. He's using shades of gray. I see light gray, medium gray, dark gray, and an even darker gray than that. In this painting, he's doing it again. He's overlapping shapes and using different shades of the same color of red and orange. The last thing I notice about his work is that his figures are shown as a silhouette. A silhouette is a shadow shape that happens when the light is in the background. This is called backlighting. When a figure is backlit, they look like a shadow because the light is behind them. Today, I'd like you to think about how you can create art in a style like Aaron Douglas. What colors will you use? What silhouette will you choose? What story will you choose to tell? I can't wait to see your Aaron Douglas inspired works of art.
All right. And that was our part of our Elders and Ancestors Blueprint. And that was about Brother Aaron Douglas. I don't know if you guys ever watched the Key and Peele comedy show. And the substitute teacher would come in to teach the kids in the public school, and he would mispronounce all their names. So instead of saying Aaron, he would say Aaron. Peace, Brother Godspeed. What's good with you, bro? Okay, Godspeed's working on his sound. Maybe you got to go out and come back in so we can get your vocal, so we can get your audio, bro. Let me see if I can hear you, bro. Talk nice to me, brother. Talk nice to me. Can you hear me, Godspeed?
Oh, Aurora's on. Haha, big sister. Yo.
Hey, can you hear me?
Okay, I heard you in that minute. How you doing?
Whoa, what up, big sister?
It's all good. I saw this. I was working, and I saw you sent the link, and I just pressed it, and I ended up in this brother's room
Oh wow.
with the
I
real
know.
HD.
I know, right?
I appreciate it. I appreciate
Absolutely.
any new
doubt. Vic will
faces
be
that come
on.
through.
I guess he's probably taking care of some technical difficulties.
No, we're good. Can you hear me?
How you doing?
Let me just put it in one of the comments.
Yeah, I can hear both of you now.
Oh, you can hear both
word?
of me?
I can't
Mhm.
hear him. Yeah, I can't hear him at all.
Oh, okay. So let me put it here because we were right in the middle of our
Yeah, I'm
segment.
happy you made it.
Thank you. You know, I'm curious because I said I don't know. I told him I said I don't know how I got in here. I just hit this link.
I know, right? Wow. Yeah, that's what we call a divine intervention in our field.
That's true.
That's what we call a divine intervention. Definitely gotta make some time to come and check you in person.
Look, this is great. I mean, it's been some years, but I always know that y'all doing some positive things, so that's a good thing.
Absolutely, we're striving. This show is like a cultural current event variety show. That's a lot.
All right. So, Sister Aurora, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, great. So, Godspeed. Can you look on the bottom?
Oh, okay. Listening to him. Okay. Yeah. I wonder what's up with his side because this is unique.
Go out and come back in.
Look like he's coming on. I see his name just popped up.
Oh, maybe you have a delay.
Our magnanimous host.
Hey.
Engineer All-Star.
Peace. What's going on? Can you hear me now?
Vic.
So let's get back to the segment.
No, his name went back off. Oh boy.
Okay. Let's get back to the segment. So, Brother Aaron Douglas, okay? One of our Renaissance giants.
I cannot hear you.
Okay. So say, known as the father of Black arts, Aaron Douglas was born in Topeka, Kansas, developed an interest in drawing. He studied at the University of Nebraska, moved to Harlem in 1925, settling in, of course, Harlem. He soon became involved in the Harlem Renaissance cultural movement in the 1920s and emphasized arts, writers, and performers. Douglas began to create magazine illustrations and develop modern style that incorporated African and Egyptian design elements. Among his important early work were the murals at 135th.
Hey, Vic, if you can hear me, no, I can't hear you.
Okay, so just go out and come back in real quick, bro. In 1939, he moved to Nashville. He founded the art department at Fisk University, a HBCU, teaching there for 30 years. In his art, Douglas explored
Every now and again this happens, but he'll get
lives
he'll be on soon.
People of color so powerfully depicted an emerging Black American individuality. All right, so that was Brother Aaron Douglas, his contribution to the Harlem Renaissance. Are you still with us, Sister Aurora?
Yes, I am.
All right, so have you ever heard of Brother Aaron Douglas?
I've seen the artwork. I used to collect a lot of different artwork that I used to sell at my shop. But
I used to sell art in the shop too. Okay.
So like and especially when they always have the at the Stromberg in Harlem, and they would show the new artists, and I used to love going and just being able to admire our art. But one thing about Aaron Douglas, I'm not sure where you originate from, but for those who are in New York, he was Midwest, and it kind of brought the same feel from the Harlem Renaissance. So it's like here you have a Black man in the Midwest. I don't know. I've never been to Topeka, so Kansas. I've been to Kansas, but not Topeka. And it just shows how we're not that different, across the states and across the globe. you know, that art is reflective of some of what was happening in the New York areas as well. So,
Fire. So what's dope about Brother Douglas is his artwork was so popularized and so like
Yeah, when
inspiring
Vic
to
gets on
Mhm.
back on the camera, I'm gonna ask him if he ever been through Here Comes the Dawn. He might have came through Here Comes the Dawn back in the day because you
Mm,
know, him and his peoples was at Hofstra going strong while we were at Nassau going strong with Professor Kent Jenkins
yeah.
and all these other wonderful people over there, Calvin
Mhm.
Andrews, Bruce Jenkins, you know,
Mhm.
all these beautiful people that we worked with at Nassau. So while we were doing that, you know, he was over at Hofstra doing a lot of things over there with the NOAA program and everything.
Mm,
And he might have came through your store back then. He
yeah.
might have.
Yeah. You just might have, and then I was always contributing to things that were going on at Hofstra. That's
Oh,
how
dope. So
Mm,
we probably bumped
it's
into
probably
each other,
both
sis.
exactly.
For sure.
a
For
lot
sure.
of
Yeah.
Because I used to
history.
work at, as a matter of fact, I used to work
A
at
lot of
I used to
history.
work
A
at
lot of
Patrick Payne's
history.
bookstore
Wow,
in
you know, the
Hempstead.
birthday
Mhm.
of our
Were you
mentor is
familiar
coming
with
up
that
pretty
one?
soon.
So yeah, so they were down. So there were two stores. One that had my sister Shelley Brasley, and they were on
I used
Buckingham.
to work for Shelly and Ani.
Oh, yeah. See, the world is small.
Yeah, I used to work
That's
for
my
them when they was
sister.
in Baldwin. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. And then I opened up on Front Street in Hempstead,
Oh,
at
dope,
like 1989.
dope,
Yeah, and so it
dope,
was,
dope,
yeah,
dope,
it
dope.
was a moving time then. We were trying to
For
pick
sure,
ourselves up.
for sure, for sure.
Mhm.
Godspeed. Can you hear me, bro? Can you hear me
Wish
now?
we could time warp back to those days.
Can you
Yeah.
ask Godspeed if he can hear me?
Hey, Godspeed, can you hear?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
Can you ask him to go
Can't
out
hear
of
him,
the
can't see
show
him
and
yet.
come back in, and maybe that might fix the issue?
Okay. He says you need to go out and come back in the show.
Okay, no problem. Doing
Okay.
that now. Mhm.
Okay.
He says no problem with doing it now.
Okay, cool. So you and I could chop it up about Aaron Douglas. So Aaron, he gives me early vibes of Bibbs. Are you familiar with the artist Bibbs?
No.
Charles Bibbs. He paints all the exaggerated like sisters, like the Fulani
So I
sisters.
may have seen the art, but I am not good with the titles and the names.
Okay, let me put a picture of his up, and maybe you'll know the artwork when you see it. Because I used to sell a lot of his pictures at
Yeah.
Shelly and Ani's store.
Oh,
Because remember they used to sell art. I don't know if
right.
you know. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. Let's see. Let me see.
African Riches Treasures. That was her.
Yeah,
That was her.
wavy,
I remember.
wavy. Dope stuff.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so here's the picture. Here's a pic of them, and let me share my screen so you can see it. Come on, cooperate. Okay, let me get this out of here. And then, what is it? My screen cooperating. All right, here we go. So here's Bibbs, one of his famous works.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yes, absolutely.
you remember that brother,
Mhm.
his style?
Yes. And I believe I just used a screenshot back in March for the month of Women's
Mm-hmm.
Month, and I used one of his prints.
Yeah, dope,
Mm,
dope brother. Yep, Bibbs.
mm,
Yep, really dope. He was like one of our best sellers at the
mm,
store. And Aaron Douglas reminds me of that brother and his work. So I just
mm.
wanted to like share that with you.
That's nice.
May have been like inspired by Aaron Douglas and his work. If you get what I'm saying. Peace,
Yeah.
Godspeed, you there?
We see you
Peace.
and hear you.
Can you
What
hear
do
me
you
now?
hear? What do you say? I can hear you loud and clear.
Hey, that's what's up. All right, cool. So that was our Ancestors and Elders Blueprint on the show.
Mm.
I had another one for you, but I'll save it for our Lit City report.
Okay.
And we're blasting off to 5 Facebook channels: YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, let's see, Instagram, and Mount Crush D Live Trouble Nation. We got a lot of folks in here.
Okay.
Share the show. We are the Real HD. So we got an update. So what we do in our update is we try to stay on the neck of this woman here. The New York DA that created a felony for herself by using her YT privilege to avoid the law and to avoid into kind of, just kind of, she threw her weight around, created a criminal situation for herself. And she's up here in Monroe County, where we are in upstate New York. And we wanted to give an update. So the update on her is that, let me read the exact joint because I think it's a bunch of bull. So the skinny on her is she's the Monroe County, New York DA. And she committed a ton of felony violations and broke the law because the cops requested her to stop on a traffic stop. She didn't do it. She drove all the way across Highway 104, all the way across Phillips Boulevard, into her cul-de-sac, into her driveway, and then proceeded to give the officer her best rendition of a Karen. She went in her house, grabbed the peppermint, pulled out her badge, began to brat out, as it were. And there's a petition going on at change.org to get her removed from office since she violated her office with so many counts of felonies. But she's using her privilege to skirt out of it. And we are going to stay on the neck of those who are trying to do that, because she, in a very savage and equality way, tries to lock up our folks whenever she gets the chance. She's done a lot of that in a lot of ways. So the update on her was that there was a investigation going on, a special investigation committee put together by the New York authorities, as it will, of the governor's office. Because, of course, she's an elected official of New York State, and the only one that can fire her is the governor. Because, of course, the governor is the executive branch of New York State, and the governor has the power to control military and police within New York State. She's a executive police officer as the DA, and the governor's office put together a independent commission to study the charges going into Sandra Dorley. And unfortunately, they decided that they're, in the, I guess wild or at large opinion of the matter, it was talked about that she didn't break a law, even though in her garage, the officer that was talking to her, and now this story became famous, it became viral. So you can go on TMZ and watch the story, because it's about 3 to 5 minutes of this woman in full Karen mode, disrespecting the officer. You could tell by the way she looks right here that she was in full mode, going. And we want to make sure we stay consistent until justice is served for this corrupt official. And the update on that is that there's some rumination by, I guess, the elected officials in New York State that she didn't violate any laws, even though at the scene of the crime, the officer said you committed a felony by not stopping for a police order. So are you guys aware of this at all, or is this still kind of off you guys' radar?
I remember it because you brought it up and you've been staying consistent on it.
Yeah.
So that's how I knew about it. But I haven't really been hearing about it, or, like out here and stuff.
Yeah.
But you know what she reminded me? She looked like a twin for, right? She like a Marjorie Taylor Greene twin, a Marjorie Taylor Greene twin.
That's a good example. Wow. And you know, she got put in her place by Representative Crockett. Representative
Oh, yeah.
Crockett wasn't having it. She's like,
Sister
I grew
Crockett
up
is on
playing the
fire.
cousins, baby. You ain't got nothing for me.
Ooh,
That sister
blonde,
called her a
blonde.
bleach
What's his
blonde and
name?
everything but a child of the God. You know, in the middle of Congress, she let her have it. That was funny, hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, man.
Oh, yeah.
So please go to change.
A little blood on the congressional floor.
Right. Please go to
Exactly.
change.org and sign a petition to get this woman removed from office. Because now there's rumors that she didn't even break any laws. So it's interesting when it's our folks.
Oh, yeah.
Criminality is clear and present.
Exactly.
But then when it's the mother folks, criminality has to be specially investigated.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and it's just that privilege. You know, privilege is not a word that they associate with us, and you know, privilege for us knows that they're unearned things that they're getting. They're not, you know, they're using their misusing their post, and so. But if we were to do it, it's crime. But for them, it's the privilege, and so that's another thing that you know we always have to recognize as people that you know. The sisters in Congress right now are shutting them down. And like, let's let you know, okay?
Yeah, she gave it to her.
Everyone, you know.
Yeah, she was like, you caught the wrong one today.
Exactly. You know.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So she's like, I'm on. She's like, I'm on that time.
I'm on that type of time for sure. You done caught the right one. Yeah. Shout out to Representative Crockett. Unapologetic, getting it done.
Salute.
And in Congress, we need more representatives that have, you know, like her and Eric Mays that don't fear the establishment, so that they can get some things done.
That's right.
But let's move into our other segment, our AAT report. That's our healthy, wealthier, and wiser segment. Why? Because we need cell power. A couple of years ago, our cell power was robbed from us, along with tons of loved ones because of the pandemic. So we like to give a health report every time we have the show. I know I lost about 4 people due to that, some loved ones, a great grandmother, I lost an uncle, I lost frat brothers and cousins, and it was just crazy time. So we want to make sure we give the people all the health advice that they can get so that we could be out there and we could be our best selves with this information. So I got a couple of videos I want to show, and I like that Sister Aurora's on the joint because now we can get her opinion on this. And this video for our AAT report comes to us from, you can go on Twitter and you can follow this sister. Her name is Tamara Sharif Muhammad. And she's from the MGT of, I believe it's Detroit, if I'm not mistaken, D-Town, Michigan. And she gave a report on breastfeeding. And I think it's really dope that sisters be aware of this information. So let's go with the AAT report on that Real HD show. Let's have a higher discussion afterwards. Check it out. Here we go.
Back in 2016, and it blew my mind. Born on May 23rd, 1946, at Annie Penn Hospital in North Carolina, Annie Mae Falls gave birth to Miracles, America's first set of identical black quadruplets born healthy. But with a spinal injury as a child that left Annie without the ability to speak or hear, and a husband tenant farmer trying to raise 6 other children, the Falls would soon be taken advantage of by their white doctor, who saw the quads as an opportunity to make money. First, Dr. Fred Klenner did something very strange. He named the girls after members of his own family, so that all the girls' names were Mary, Mary Catherine, Mary Louise, Mary Ann, and Mary Alice, named after his wife, aunt, daughter, and great-aunt. But it gets stranger. Next, Dr. Klenner immediately begins testing his controversial theories about vitamin C on the girls the very day they were born, injecting them with 50 milliliters each. But Dr. Klenner is still not done. He practically adopts the girls, puts them up in a house on some land, and uses them as the marketing face of the highest bidding formula company. But the girls and their family were not making any money. In fact, Dr. Klenner had it set up to where people can come and see the girls behind the glass screen like they were animals, and the land they lived on away from their parents was trash. But in the public, it looked like the girls were rich and famous, as they were featured all over the world as the face of the marketing campaign. Meanwhile, the company with the highest bid would be the first to target Black women with the formula advertising campaign that would discourage us from breastfeeding. Dr. Klenner selected Pet Milk, which would set in motion a chain of events that would lead to Annie Mae losing not just the right to name her own daughters, but the girls themselves. Through Pet Milk's marketing campaign, many Black women became convinced that formula was just as healthy or even healthier than breast milk. Most of the advertisements targeted Black people, Black women. Magazines such as National Geographic portrayed breastfeeding as savage and nasty. Pet Milk's campaigns using the quads became one of the first instances of Black women being stereotyped as bad, cold, and incompetent mothers. But there is so much more to this story, and we definitely talk about it in the book. So if you haven't gotten it, you might want to get it.
All right. So that was our AAT report, Healthy, Wealthier, and Wiser for Better Cell Power. And the original formula for breast milk was pet milk, used against our sisters and our babies, ancestors at this point. And I didn't even know that. Like, that was brand new information to me. And I'm forever a Talib. I'm forever learning, study. Even though I teach, I'm forever digging up information and factoids and all of that. And when I saw that the original formula for breast milk was pet milk, and it was marketed to our sisters as some sort of replacement for their natural colostrum in their breast, that's like, mother's milk, as they say, that's responsible for growing healthy babies. That blew my mind. I said, I gotta let the sisters know about this. Sister Aurora, what are your first impressions on this video, and what do you think about this subject in general? Hey, put your mic on.
Thanks.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
Yeah, but for a person to be allowed to, take someone's children as though they are property, that's what sticks mostly out of that whole thing. I don't care if they're, with sucking breast or drinking pet milk. The thing about that story is that a woman and somewhere a man had their children were taken from them in 20th century America and allowed to be exported like that, but named, and that's our whole, that goes back to what is really at the root of some of our mental health issues, is being allowed not to identify ourselves, and being identified for ourselves. It for me, that's what came out of that story. Like, you can be sitting, I could be sitting in Uniondale, New York, my hometown, and I can be like, the hell, I have a child, and if that were to happen, the first thing, the hell. So yeah, I'm sorry.
Right.
Nah. Hey, if it applies, let it fly. Go ahead. Do you think?
Yeah, and so the focus. They're growing up. I'm a 1962 child, okay, and so growing up, one of the things that my parents made sure, and the parents that I was around, that was an age where folks were coming to our house from upstate New York to have Black Panther meetings and things. So for me, we've always been said, keep your eyes on the prize. Don't let people, new milk, new soda, new. We're easily distracted. We're easily distracted is because we have no foundation, and so the outrage is not, you made me use pet milk The outrage is that you took my kids. I'm like,
That's
you know,
that's part of
took my
it.
kids, named my kids. You're my kids. We ain't had no money. But you dress them up, put them in a picture, and y'all were outraged about letting them use milk, or breast. Come on, that's not the outrage here. So when we were always taught, keep your eyes on the real prize, and you see today we can't do that. Everything, we're focusing on this felonious president. But no, we over here worry about what Drake said to somebody, And so
Right.
again, I mean, I'm up from a different age. I was raised by some strong parents, and that's what made us being able to be, outspoken and speak our truths. But come on, the eye is not about the milk. It's about who the hell's you gonna allow walk into your house and take your kids, doctor, anybody. Who are you gonna let do that? And the way they would sit there and do women like that and break up the family like that is by saying, oh, well, she can't take care of her kids the way no, you took my kids. You didn't give me an opportunity to take care of my kids. So now that they're not accustomed to, living in a smaller home or being with their mother because I've got them their doctor, that's all right. So the outrage for me is different. I'm just saying.
No, you're good. Please, if it applies, let it fly. I like your take.
Absolutely.
Mine was mostly, but you know what? I'll give mine at the end. Godspeed. You go.
A lot of what she said, and it just, pet milk. Really? So, that's, and you see, it goes, this whole thing is about moving chattel, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a whole different level of this whole 13th Amendment, 14th Amendment situation when they were calling us three-fifths of a human being, so they're treating them like artificial persons or wards of the state, meaning like, you went through the process of birthing and they went through the process of being born, right? Where in language.
I think I lost your sound.
Yeah, we lost you a little bit, bro. Can you check your phone? Godspeed. We lost you again, bro. Check your phone and come back on to us. Oh, there you go. Hey,
I'm sorry.
We lost about maybe 20 seconds. What you were saying?
Yeah, because I have some relatives. They always pick right when I'm doing something to call. It's like intuitive.
Sounds right.
Intuitive.
Sounds about right.
It can't ever be a little bit before, a little bit after. It got to be right when I'm doing it.
Right.
But I'm saying that what, with this thing though, it's like what I was saying is that on so many different levels, they're treating these people, they're treating these children and treating their parents like artificial persons. They're treating them like wards of the state, right? It deals with the whole 13 and 14 amendments, like the 13th Amendment when it used to be 3/5 of a person and things like that. And all of it is just violating. And you're talking about pet milk, right? Pet milk. This is insane. It's like I never even thought I would have heard this one. Even I should not be surprised. There's nothing new under the sun. It's just certain times our gaze don't fall upon it, but it's there. Something is there. It's almost like you could say the impossible and it was attempted at least, right? So this is crazy. But again, I just fall back on the whole artificial person, ward of the state, and then everything else is just ill treatment of the original man, woman, and child, and human beings in general. I yield the floor.
And just if I just say one more thing on that, I mean, yes, it's women should know about this. Women, I'm hoping past the 20th century. I mean, young girls get put into these fads. I'm like, your baby's 2 days old and you got lumps in your bottle, okay? And it's not your milk, So yeah, that's very important for them to know today. I mean, some of our generations have sat there and have been depleted by use of bad foods, foods that they push to, what they would call displaced folks, or like we know is foods that they were pushing out Black neighborhoods and things like that. Yeah, and it's all shown by the fact that you could afford to buy fast foods and you can't even afford to buy vegetables. And so it's all connected with why would you not want me to buy vegetables, but you would definitely make it possible for me to go to McDonald's. So as women, we do have to be aware. I mean, we should still be living longer, but we're not. It fell off. There's not too many. I was very privileged, and this my privilege to have grown up with 5 living generations. So I knew my great grandmother, my grandmother, and then my mother. And so it's wonderful that being with women who kind of be outspoken has been able to, let us know the truth. But we really have to be deciphers. What are they do? What is, so what are they doing to you? No, back it up. It's not about the milk. It's about them kids,
Yeah.
So we have to realize that we have to start putting our eyes on each other and being very watchful, because covert has come back, covert has come back.
Crazy, man.
For sure. For sure.
Crazy.
The thing that sparked me about we got Brother Mozzie on the MIC in the place to be, Brother Mozzie. Peace. How you doing, bro?
It's good.
Yeah, we got Sister Aurora on there with us. First time on the show.
All right.
She's already sparking it, So I love that she's on the show. Godspeed's on the show, and we doing what we're doing. And we're talking about an AAT report topic, which is kind of the origin of how breast milk was implemented into the United States, which was, 4 Black girls were taken from their parents and made the face of artificial milk. And then the artificial milk was pet milk. It wasn't regular milk. It was pet milk. And the reason why I had such a hard time with it, and it really, it sparked my, it sparked my engines, is because it started a generational habitual, practice of young Black women who have dire circumstances, and they start using artificial milk instead of their real milk, their breast milk, to feed their babies. And then, of course, the effects that it has on the growth of family, the growth of community, and all the rest. What say you, bro? Are you familiar with this at all? Or if not, I'll play the video again real quick, just so you can get the gist of it.
You may want to. I have a general idea, but you can rock the video one more time.
Yeah, I'll pop it up one more time. I'm only going to play about half of it this time, because I ran it before, and I want to make sure we don't take up too much time. Check it out.
Story back in 2016, and it blew my mind. Born on May 23rd, 1946, at Annie Penn Hospital in North Carolina, Annie Mae Falls gave birth to Miracles, America's first set of identical Black quadruplets born healthy. But with a spinal injury as a child that left Annie without the ability to speak or hear, and a husband-tenant farmer trying to raise 6 other children, the Falls would soon be taken advantage of by their white doctor, who saw the quads as an opportunity to make money. First, Dr. Fred Klenner did something very strange. He named the girls after members of his own family, so that all the girls' names were Mary, Mary Catherine, Mary Louise, Mary Ann, and Mary Alice, named after his wife, aunt, daughter, and great-aunt. But it gets stranger. Next, Dr. Klenner immediately begins testing his controversial theories about vitamin C on the girls the very day they were born, injecting them with 50 milliliters each. But Dr. Klenner is still not done. He practically adopts the girls, puts them up in a house on some land, and uses them as the marketing face of the highest bidding formula company. But the girls and their family were not making any money. In fact, Dr. Klenner had it set up to where people can come and see the girls behind the glass screen like they were animals, and the land they lived on away from their parents was trash. But in the public, it looked like the girls were rich and famous, as they were featured all over the world as the face of the marketing campaign. Meanwhile, the company with the highest bid would be the first to target Black women with the formula advertising campaign that would discourage us from breastfeeding.
All right, there we go. We're back. Real HD Show. So that took me to so many levels because I didn't fully watch the entire thing. I try to experience some of those videos with you guys and then some of them by myself as I choose them. What do you guys, Brother Mozzie, what's your thought on that?
It's typical of what this country has done. You know, somebody is always a diabolical doctor looking for fame and fortune, and they found some subjects. And it just so happens to be, like it has always been, the melanated folks of America. I mean, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. You know, America has a long history of that. But what you find interesting, though, is they did that to promote, well, you know, they sold it off to the highest bidder. But when we look at research today, most of the research today, even back then, was not done to maybe solve a problem. It was to get an understanding of whatever understanding they were trying to find. But when it came to doing that same type of research on white people, they were looking to solve a problem. So that was the major differences, too, between what took place when they supposedly are doing research on us and research on the general population. The general population trying to solve a problem, let's fix the issue. The Black population, we're just being diabolical and we're just trying to see what happens.
Yeah, man. So I don't know if you guys, you know, we're all readers here, avid readers. There's a book called Rolling Thunder, Hear My Cry. Old school book about the 1930s, 1940s. So, and some of the, you know, sharecropping, antebellum stuff that was going on. And in one of the books, when you were behind on whatever, like let's say mortgage payment, you know, whatever payments you needed for the land that you were on, that you were sharecropping on, they would use that. They would use those circumstances that you were under to abuse the family, take advantage of your property, and take advantage of. They might do something dastardly to maybe one of the females in the family or something. And in this case, it kind of eerily sounds like that's what happened to this family. Because how in the world was this doctor just able to usurp these young lady and do whatever he wanted to do with them? And then the second thing I want to get you guys' opinion on is this sounds like Venus Hottentot. So you know how the Venus Hottentot was on the stages of Europe and on the stages of America at these world fairs. And her backside was the amusement of mad people. Yeah, her sexuality was the amusement of mad white folk all over the world. And when they said in the video just now that the babies were allowed to be like they were in a fishbowl, so to speak, it just reminded me of that. Any of you guys can comment on that and see if that rings any truth or alarms or, you know, speculation like it did for me.
Yeah, look, I agree with everything you just said. You just added more, how could I say, more dimension to everything that we were saying. You know, you just added on a whole nother dimension I didn't think about, honestly, that way. I was so stuck more on the whole, you know, my whole, you know, how could I say, my little tribe or march on this whole rights of a person thing, with 3/5 of a person being their original idea of us. And, you know, the whole water the state situation, because you just go and take these people's children away from them. You're telling them that they're not even like of the age of majority. You know what I'm saying? You're just telling them straight that they're not of that age. You know what I mean? They're not adults. They're wards of the state, and they're still chattel slave. They're still chattel persons. It's like, and now you added that. I mean, that's more dimension to it, and everything Sister Aurora was saying earlier too, and what Brother Mozzie had just said. So no, yeah, you just shine another area of it.
Yeah, one of the other things that it kind of rung a bell for me about was this might have been kind of the early precursors to the CPS system. So you know how the CPS system would take your children if you had some sort of speculation that you were abusing the children, or the children were malnourished, or whatever the situation, they were in some sort of danger or whatever, and how in a lot of scenarios today, the CPS officers abuse that power, that parented patriot act, and enforce that unjustly on the parents, and then they may wind up in situations that aren't necessarily great for them in their development as foster children. Any thoughts on that?
Well, history has shown that's what they do. That they take our children from us. It's just that.
Hey, Mozzie, rock out for 1 second. I'm just gonna go grab something. I'll be right back.
Yeah. Typically, that's what they do, and it's how they're able to, in the quote unquote, around that time frame, you're looking at the world connecting more via telecommunication, via video. Although it may have been delayed, we were going into that time frame where the word heard around the world got sped up, and people were looking at America as this great society. So they had to find ways to carry out their diabolicalness without being looked upon as, what the hell are these people doing? So they did things like creating foster care, where they rewarded Europeans for taking in our children, but at the same time, they created a system to allow our kids to be taken. And a lot of times when our kids were taken, they were experimented on. Period. They always wanted to see, if we come up with this, what will it do? And they knew they couldn't do it on other white people, or they wouldn't do it on other white people. They always sought to find cure with white people, and always sought to see how it manifests itself with black people, i.e., Tuskegee syphilis experiment.
Yes, sir. That
what
rolled
would
right
happen
through my
if
mind
we
when you were
allowed
saying
it to
that.
happen?
Yeah, right when you were saying that, that's the same thing that rolled through my mind. The Tuskegee experiment. Yeah, I was like, yeah.
And this is, like I said, this is how the country was able to get their subjects without being looked upon as some barbaric country.
Exactly, that in the prisons.
Exactly. And so that's why, people don't understand CRT is much bigger than people who are constantly complaining about, we don't want to be victims of history and this, that, and the other. No, they realize no matter how you slice it, and when you really start to look at it, and you consider yourself a righteous person, because, most of these folks are right-wing Christians anyway, and you can't say yourself as a lover of God, all these different things that they talk about. And then when you look at your history, there's no way you can deny it was very barbaric. Period. It had no rhyme. It had no reason. Period. If we need to quit trying to find all these great institutions of higher learning, anecdotes to explain why this was the way it was. The reality, keep it simple for the guy in the back of the room who don't understand all that. They were seriously diabolical people who did some diabolical things, and they had to make sure that they clean it up so that the rest of the world don't realize they are who they are.
Yeah, man. When you just said clean it up and some diabolical things, hey, Brother Godspeed and Sister Aurora, where we're gonna go back to Long Island right now. and not to Hofstra and Nassau Community College, but we're going to talk about Cold Spring Harbor and those eugenics experiments that they used to do out there. So when Brother Mozzie was talking about diabolical, and I was trying to bring this up, but I didn't want to go too crazy on it. But I'm gonna do an entire, I'm gonna do a series on the brand new eugenics experiments they're doing with these CRISPRs. Are you familiar with that, Brother Mozzie?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're making all kind of excuses for instituting a brand new eugenics programming through the CRISPR technology and science. And then, of course, that all was rationalized at the Cold Spring Harbor Labs in Long Island. And they used to do a lot of diabolical racial experiments on our folks out there. And they made all kind of rationalizations for it. So stay tuned to the Real HD Show. We're going to do that coming up really soon, because, of course, that kind of falls in line with the designer baby theory that everybody seems to be thinking is a great thing. Instead of letting, the divine and the ancestors bless you with a great child, you're gonna get designer with it, like you put a great outfit to go out on town. Nah, these is babies. These are people that got a soul and purpose, and So if anybody's out there not familiar with the Cold Spring Harbor Eugenics Labs, please look that up. It's all over the place. If you're familiar with that, if you're a melanated person, familiarize yourself with that Cold Spring Harbor situation. It's a nightmare. And anytime that you and what I picked up, here's a little goodie for that, Godspeed. You know what I picked up? You know the movie Saw?
Oh yeah.
And like Freddy Krueger, when he was institutionalized, a lot of the mantra and themes of Freddy Krueger and Jason and all those demented folks who they made horror movies of came out of a lot of the failed eugenics experiments of the 1910s, 20s, and 30s.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's not at all unusual that in the 1940s they was experimenting on children. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Not at all unusual. You know what I mean? So, but now they will have this new technology and they trying to massage you to drink the new pet milk. You feel me?
And the way they're doing it.
Go ahead, Brother Mozzie. Go ahead, rock out.
And the way they're doing it with CRISPR is they're talking about how it's going to help disabled people. And we all got a soft spot for the disabled folks. So that's how they're gonna get us. But what's interesting is that, I mean, even as we were growing up in high school, they talked about designer babies and people wanting it. So it's like, these things were talked about. Now we're starting to see that they're coming to fruition. But the problem is most of our folks are watching Channel Zero and worrying about, I don't even know what's the latest thing on YouTube or the latest viral sensation, but those are the things that are more important to them. And then so these things like this that are so important for us to understand, we're not getting the message. But as long as we tell one a day and they listen to the Real HD Show,
Ta-da.
I always throw that in there.
Hey, that's what's up. That's my guy. That's why he's on the show. I appreciate everybody watching, man. We were in the middle of an AAT report. We got a little deep on it. We spent more time than we usually do, but that's okay because it's about the conversation and the higher discussion. I appreciate Sister Aurora for rocking with us tonight. She's giving us a brand new flavor we haven't had on the show in a bit.
Thank you.
So anybody else on that last subject of the sisters and it's just tripping so many things in my mind, like the 4 little girls in the Arkansas and Arkansas bombing, and it's bubbling up so many things. I don't want to go on tangents, but Godspeed. You good on this? You ready to move on?
Yep. Solid.
Okay, cool. Aurora, you good with this, sis? You ready to move on to something else?
Yep.
All right, here we go. We haven't done this in a while. And this is our Lit City Report, the wacky, the wild, the wonderful things that keep our world go around, because we deal with so many heavy subjects on the Real HD show that we need a little bit of levity. We need a little bit of, pop, something to keep us balanced. You know what I'm saying? Now we're not gonna go totally off the rails, but this was a video that Brother Mozzie just sent me, and it's about being conscious. And Brother David Banner, who was a rapper, but now he's a motivational speaker and conscious thinker and activist. And he has something to say. And I thought it was lit. So he's part of our Lit City Report on the Real HD show. Here we go.
Because waiting for rich black folks to help them, they not. They got their money with us thinking exactly the way that we think now. We have no financial literacy. We have no spiritual literacy. And so we spend all our money and we give all the money to everybody outside of our fucking community. Like, if we start waking up and we really become conscious, then we're going to start loving ourselves and start realizing that they've been lying to us all the fucking time. One of the greatest things one of the worst things that's happened to me is when I truly started becoming conscious, it was the worst depression that I ever had in my life.
Oh, man. Now, that's what I wanted to talk about. Is being a conscious person a gift and a curse? Let's talk about it. Let's have a higher discussion. I think I got the right people on for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Compassion fatigue. Compassion fatigue.
That's the question for my super intelligent panel this evening. Let's get it. Anybody could jump in on that one. Is being a conscious individual a gift and a curse? Let's talk about it.
It is. It is. I mean, you get compassion fatigue. It's like you do some, I mean, growing up where I was growing up and trying to help the community, and it became more and more and more. And, the more you did, the more you had to do. It became compassion fatigue. And then for someone who you're helping to turn around and, like, I had a store, so everyone that came in there, I helped. But for someone to think that they were going to come in there and walk out and steal from us when we were giving to the community, that was just a whole different thing. I mean, I was so happy with the brothers who, when they first heard that someone tried to rip off my store, the Lions of Judea, the Five Percenters, the Nation of Islam, all showed up at my door, because they're like, "What happened?" I mean, I don't even know how the news got out, but they all showed up at my store, and they made sure nobody was ever going to sit there and try to rip us off again, or do anything. But one of the things we opened it up. So, hey, y'all need a meeting place? I got a basement, and
oh yeah.
we had what is missing today, and Godspeed could tell you, I had think tanks. So just like this show is great because it's reminded me of those think tanks. We come downstairs and someone just topic comes out, and we had folks who were really trying to be critical thinkers and not reactionaries, because we noted that reactionaries just got us in jail, because it was just us, in the justice system. So it was a great time to have think tanks. I mean, we joined together stores like Arts Riches Treasures with my sister Shelly, and store, other Black-owned stores and barbershops and stuff. We started coming together and just talking, and just talking and being, and as a collective, I think everyone, Here Comes the Dawn is always dedicated Africans working nationally. And I said, it has nothing to do with our religions, or it has to do with what I can see across the room. They're not beating us down because they already know our religion, or they already know our education status or our economic status. No, they're beating us down because we're Black. They can physically see that. So when we opened up our store, and it was really great to bring the brothers together as 5% Nation and the Nation of Islam and the Lions of Judea, and we started having conversations, and it was really good because we all brought something to the table, and we selected things that we can make changes with, and when people saw us in a unity kind of flow, I mean, that was it was magnetic at that time in Long Island. You know, we went from every corner of Long Island just to say, hey, you got a black-owned store? I said, let me have your card. So if I don't have it, I'm going to tell somebody to call you. I said, we're going to play Macy's and Gimbals, you know. So again, you have to be very critical. And you take these, you know, Here Comes the Dawn was built on the Macy's. So all of those booths were owned by others. I just try to help organize and put your things out there, you know, your products out there, your shows out there, your books out there. And, you know, it was a collective. And it was, you know, a great way to have a collective, especially because we brought out a lot of us at that time were younger. And so, but we brought out some very, you know, we stepped to mayors of the village of Hempstead for the first time and changed things, you know. So it's really critical for us to understand that, yes, it's a curse, no, but it's not easy. Okay, you know, and I should say it's not easy. And yes, you get compassion fatigue. Yes, you be like, didn't I just, you know, okay, that didn't work, you know. So yeah, but you know, but your heart's in it. And I tell people, I think it's not just that, it's a calling, because anybody in their right mind won't do what we do. But it's a calling. And so we move things the way we feel that we can move them. You know, and that's what Here Comes the Dawn did. I said, I could just look at you and say, hey, come over here. We brought 7,000 people to a hotel in Hempstead that they didn't want for Black Unity Day. Our position, our think tank had grown. We had all facets of everyone down there at 303 Front Street, right? Way back then. And we called it, I said, you know, how do we get you? People always say, oh, well, if you serve chicken and watermelon, we'll come. No, we did this Buds for You, Black Unity Day. And without having a radio shot, we brought 7,000 people into the village. And we did it because I'm like, well, hey, I said, you know, the cab drivers, most of them are Black. Why don't we just give it to them and let them? And we made the card for them. We did it with the train. We had a brother who, Jerry Jackson, I'll never forget. He gathered everybody he was a conductor on the Long Island Railroad, and he gathered all his brothers to hand out these flyers. And I said, we can do it without making a noise, because we are those people. We are those frontline support people. We were getting copies made by sisters that worked in offices and everything. Everything came together because we came together, and we understood that our power was togetherness, and that it didn't matter how small our contribution was. There's no small contributions.
Fire.
That's
fire.
right.
Did you know?
That's right.
Did you know Michelle and Harry that own Serenity?
Yes, I did.
Over there, right off Front Street.
Yes, and that was the thing. I made it my business to find the other Black businesses. I made it my business to find other Black businesses. I'm like, no, it's not just about Here Comes the Dawn. If Here Comes the Dawn, somebody walks in and we can tell them where to go, that's a plus for community. Yeah. You know, so it was never like, oh no, we're the only ones that have it. That's why I said with Shelly and them, that Shelly was so surprised that because, hey, do you have this book? I'm out of it. And I have somebody here, so I want to be able to send them down over there, you know, and the one in West Hempstead, but we kind of drew back after we found out who the real owner was.
that was like the Hempstead Renaissance. That was the Hempstead.
Yes. I mean, everyone, music, Kevin Powell, all of those who are down, you see, Stephen Smith was out there with us. And he was just going,
thinking about how it was back then. My eyes are starting to get watery just thinking about how it was back then.
It was fantastic.
A good time for that.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I mean, that's how I met his little brother, and you would be sitting in my shop reading, and my mother's like, oh, leave. My mother's like, oh, they're just here reading. So, you know, we didn't sit there, you got to buy first. No. They would sit in my shop. I would come in like, who are these kids? I mean, they were little. So I definitely can age myself, because they were little, but they would sit there and read in my books. So if that was what they were doing, then it was all good. My mother had people. I would tell my mother, because she was at the register. I said, why you got these kids? She goes, if they came here to read books, then it's all good. And she let them read books and look at the art, and you know. And
Yeah.
so it became a cultural center, not just for about retail.
Big facts.
Hey, that was thank
That
you
that
for
place
the,
kept us out of trouble.
yes. Thanks for the back down memory lane. That was dope. Brother
Big
Mozzie, that was a Mozzie-tastic take. So tell us why that clip stirred up sparked whatever it sparked for you, bro.
I think to use the words of our great ancestor Steve Coakley, that there's confusion in the battlefield. And sometimes, when you're in battle, some of the people that you're going to battle, unfortunately, looks like you.
That's right.
And then the other piece is, we have to stop looking for certain groups of people who historically have shown that they're not in our corner.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens is society has told us, we should always look for the rich guy. Well, anybody knows to really make it and be rich in America, you have to walk by yourself, and you do make a lot of friends, but a lot of friends you make ain't real friends. They're friends that you've used.
That's right. Sell it.
So, it's important that we understand this stuff, man, because we got that Messiah thing going on, where we're still waiting on one to come through, and 9 times out of 10, it can be that brother. What's that, Mr. Window? It can be Mr. Window, but because Mr. Window is bumming 25 cents off you, we don't want to listen to him. But we don't know the circumstances of what took place in this society that we lived in that created Mr. Window. You know what I mean? So that's why that stood out to me, was just, we got to learn to do for self, man. And somewhere along the line, that was taken away from us. I mean, everybody here on the show right now, we know when it was taken away from us. And we understand how we've been conditioned and created as the American Negro or the African American. But we need for our masses to understand that, so that in order for us to solve our problems, we're going to have to really understand, there's just like going to the doctor, man. They don't just, you come in there and say, oh, my toe hurt, and they just treat your toe. They ain't gonna know what they're treating. So they have to get some background information, and we have to do the same thing. We have to look back to understand what happened to us, so we can prescribe a proper and brighter future. And there's no one cookie cutter way to do it. It's just that as we do it, we still have to depend upon one another, and we need to understand that, because we are the we people, not the I people. And you only get that here Mondays and Wednesdays on the Real HD. So
8 to 10 p.m. Pardon the motorcycle in the background. Only when I'm broadcasting, fools want to come and pop wheelies in my neighborhood when I'm broadcasting. How that goes.
Yeah, because they know y'all ain't gonna run outside.
Crazy.
The motorbike salute. The motorbike salute.
But today's book of the evening, Mozzie just sparked me, so I'm gonna talk about today's book of the evening. This might motivate Mozzie. The Mason, the Moor, and the Alien.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, go check that out. It's by Robert Smith, and he basically details the connection between the Moors of the Middle Ages, the Freemasonry movement that matriculated from the Middle Ages to current times, the contribution of the Moors to the Freemasons, and also we get into the Naga and the Nagini, and I'm going to do a 4-part series on this because we got to do it justice. We can't just rush through it. This ain't fast food awareness, so we gotta do it justice, and just get ready for that. But check that out. That's our book of the evening. We haven't done book of the evening in a minute.
More the Mason and the Alien.
Yeah, it's a little different, but it's worth talking about. One of the things that Mozzie reminded me of in that book was the author who wrote the book talked about lynching. And he talked about Ida B. Wells and Fannie Lou Hamer and their fantastic activism against lynching and why they decided to hang. There's a lot of ways you can destroy a person. Why did they decide lynching? Well, one of the reasons that he gets into is the book is they wanted to destroy the crown chakra, which exists in the head neck region. And if there was going to be another Black Messiah, as we talked about on the show, there can't be if you destroy the crown chakra. So go check that out again. The more the Mason and the alien, and there are some YouTube videos about it. The video is about 10 minutes long, so I have to cut it up if I'm going to show you guys clips, and that was just way too much energy for today. So I said I'll save that for another, and I'll do a docu-series on the Real HD Show about it. But we could talk about it if you guys like, or you guys want to leave it at that. Anybody got anything for this?
I would rather read it first.
Okay.
Kind of familiarize myself with it a little bit.
Okay. Nah, it's dynamic stuff. It's interesting stuff, and it's it's of the Robert Massey ilk.
Oh, okay.
Massey. So if you for all the listeners out there who understand Robert Massey's indelible works, his works are just out of this world. His research is second to none. Is he a student of Dr. Clarke?
He is.
He is, right?
Yeah.
I think he is a student of
He's
Dr.
not a
Clarke.
student. He's a big fan of his.
Or a big fan. One of the two. Motivated, inspired by Dr. Ben, Dr. Clarke. But it's of the Robert Massey research. Are you an avid reader, Aurora? Are you on that? Are you on that type of time, or you got to be inspired too?
No. I should say I used to be an avid reader when I had, and now I just have time to read what I need to move forward with.
No, I got you. That's what we all do. We all read to move forward. For sure. And since you're a guest of the show, we want you to stick around. We're going to give you the choice of our red pill, blue pill moment right here on the Real HD Show. Check it out.
This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill. The story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill. You stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
Hey, that was our AAT moment, motivated and inspired by the Matrix movie, where Morpheus gives Neo a choice of his destiny. So we're going to give Sister Aurora a choice of what topic we talk about tonight. The blue pill is our light subject matter. It's still important. It's still awareness, but we keep it a little lighter. And then the red pill, we go all the way down the rabbit hole. So what say you? And neither of them is wrong. It's a choice.
That scene right there personifies my choices that I made in life. my being too daggone curious and not wanting it to stop right here. Oh, you keep going. No, it's been a remarkable life. But
so what do you choose, red pill or the blue pill?
I choose the red pill.
Hey, everybody chooses the red pill. Everybody does it. They're like, come on, give it to me. I'm waiting. All right, so you got your choice. We can talk about the Orange Man. You know who the Orange Man is, right?
No,
we can talk about Trump.
Oh, him, yeah.
We can talk about Trump. We can talk about AI. Or we can talk about what else we got? We can talk about okay, that's interesting too. We can talk about sexuality. Well, what say you? There's some news in all those areas.
Definitely. Let's see.
I'll say it again. We can talk about AI, because there's some stuff in AI that we need to talk about. And the reason why this is important is because we don't always have an audience as a people to express ourselves, to get these things out, to talk about where we're headed with these sorts of issues that are, invading our society and our culture and our family and our people. So we do it right here on the show. So which one? AI, Trump. We could talk about AI, Trump, or sexuality.
So let's talk about AI. A lot of people are afraid.
Okay.
A lot of people. Again, I go way back before you guys, but it wasn't a new premise. If anyone here is a Trekkie, everything that we're seeing to life and literally around is here. Those, everything from the cell phones to, let's try to change somebody's molecular structure so we can beam them across here and beam them across there. But if we talk about AI, I work where a lot of people are afraid that AI, just like they were afraid during the automation period and during the, any progress, they're afraid that it may take a job away from you, or it may unfairly allow, it took me like 3 years to do a doctorate program, but people are getting it done in a year, and they believe that AI is allowing, disparities in research and in persons using their own mind. So there's a lot of, it's just like with any change, any stages of change. I mean, we've gone through it from the 1900s, watching cars start occupying the roads. Everybody was scared then. Now it's the norm. Everybody was scared, when they started with factories that allowed you to have less people actually doing things, and these robotics, charged to put in the red disc on top of the blue disc on top of this, where people used to do it. They were afraid then. So with AI, I've from the time that it has become a topic, I've been exploring AI. I work remotely in many places, and so someone at one time thought, oh, it's so interesting that they got a Black AI avatar, because this is the way people see me normally during many hours of a day, and for those organizations that I work for, this is how they see me. And it's before the pandemic, this stage of remote work had existed, but then now it's being embraced more, and some people are again afraid. They don't know the possibilities. Like everything, United States turns every good thing into a weapon of mass destruction, and we're going and looking in other people's backyards, but they figure ways to destroy things. Look at the TikTok and things. They create these messages with these other people's figures, and the Trump team is using them to create false. Didn't he bring up the word fake news? Well, they're the heroes of fake news, and so we have to. Again, we did not spend enough time in educating people on our humanity. We just don't see it, and so we did not spend enough time. So anything that comes into it, you remember iRobot with Will Smith and all those kind of shows. Minute, we just have not spent enough time on understanding humanity. So yeah, it's a threat. I mean, I could use it for good or evil, but it's the person behind the uses is what we have to be kind of certain of.
Okay, so let me throw this at you. It's slowly weaving its way in its fabric into many, many things that we're doing in the country and around the world for that matter. And we have to decide whether it's a healthy thing or a good thing. Check this out. What would you rather? Would you rather be sentenced by a human or a machine? Robot judges. They want to use AI to do magistrate work, administrative work. I'll read the byline. AI is everywhere, and in the future, its impact on human life will only increase. What role can AI have in sentencing criminal cases? Can AI replace human judges in meting punishment? What say you guys?
Considering AI runs on algorithms, again, it goes into the the areas like I do organizational development. I can come into a spot, organize you, get you going. But now there are AI tools that can do some of what I do faster, But again, the algorithms that are put in there are always based on, disparaging data. You can't get clear data in the United States until there's any kind of equality. So that's never going to be right. Who is feeding those algorithms? Is it us? No. Is it coming from a place again of humanity? No, it's coming from a business book sometimes, but with the role that AI is playing, it's not waiting to come. It's here. It's really, again, algorithms versus whose algorithms were placed into the system. And I think that there's such a good chance that people will try to use it for evil instead of good because, again, we don't value humanity.
Brother Godspeed, you've had some experience with litigation and dealing with maybe some magistrates, maybe some judges in your work with the Moors. Let us know what you think about this. And would you have like to do some litigation with an AI for a judge or a magistrate? What say you?
Aye. That's a good one. Hey, that's a thinker. That's a thinker. I mean, look, that's a thinker. That could go in so many different directions, and at the same time, maybe not enough directions because I may not have enough time to really put my mind to it like that because I never thought about this before. On one end, you would think, you know what? You wouldn't have to worry about the whole colorable law dynamic in terms of like them weighing cases against you in this aspect of it, against you because of your color and your creed and your nationality and so forth. That's what you may think, personal prejudices. AI shouldn't have that, should it? Right? But well, too, there's always a moment when that machine could be, going through some kind of like some kind of a bug, or some kind of a what they call it again?
Virus.
When the computers get a virus.
Yes.
Duh. Yep, that's the word I'm looking for. Simple as the word is. Computer virus could take over that AI while judging your case. And next thing you know, let's just say hypothetically you're supposed to do sometime. What's a little slap on the wrist, like a half a year or whatever, which ain't a little slap on the wrist, but you know what I mean, in comparison to being put on death row because this AI just had a virus. I mean, it's like this movie. I'm trying to remember the name of this movie where they showed you the guy who was inside of, I guess you could call it a Tesla because it was an electric car. The electric car had a bug, had a virus. Terrible crash. And then they had to make dude a bit of a cyborg. You know what I mean? Like that car was driving him. He wasn't driving the car. It caught a virus. It crashed on him. The road was clear. You know what I'm saying?
Day after.
So I mean, when you look at it like that.
Day after tomorrow.
The day after tomorrow. Thank you, bro. Yeah, I'm not too crazy about it. I'm not with it.
Brother
I know we got
Mozzie,
problems as is in the justice system, but
Brother Mozzie, what's your thoughts, man? You down for the AI judge? Here come the judge.
As long as it's my AI judge that I create. But other than that, nah.
Right. That part.
I stay away from it. Because we know the AI that they're using. Whew, I feel sorry for the brother that goes up before them. because it's gonna have access to data and laws that the average judge is too lazy to look up, or it's just too vast for him to go and look for. So because they'll have the computing power to be able to read through all that stuff, they're gonna come up with something real obscure. And brother will be doing 195 years
because
all he did was steal a loaf of bread.
You know,
right.
You know, that's them putting into practice that third time strike. You know, oops, I should have paid for this. So, you know, and you go. But again, y'all gotta remember, it's everything. First of all, you know, everything under the sun is not new. But remember, go back, and some of you can't go back as far as I can, but RoboCop, these are shows that we watched. The Bionic Man, the Bionic Woman, these were those things being tested and now are now available for everyone. Before they weren't available for everyone. They remember Bionic Man, they worked for the government. Okay, whatever it was, they worked for the government. You know, even
Steve
iRobot worked for the
Austin.
government. Yes, you know.
Steve Austin.
Yep, Lee Majors and what's her name? The one who became
Bionic Woman.
All of those, you know, those practices, those nuances, those innovations were, you know, they always tell us, okay, it's to see if we can help disabled people walk. That was the bionic basis of the Bionic show. It's looking to see how we can replace human parts with metallic parts, and you feel that you're operating 100 again after you've gone and had your arm or leg blown off for a racist country. But if that's a different side. But anyway,
right.
That part.
You know, but again, it has been in the works, and people just have to recognize, where did you see it first? And so I always tell people, go back. I said, where did we see that first? You know, and so for most of us, it could have been television. For others of us, it's like, wow, remember before they started having those plows and you saw them lift that thing up, and now it's a regular being. There used to be people have to jump off a truck and shovel into the back of the truck, you know, but now they made it so they don't have to really jump out the truck. They scoop it up and the truck shovels it in. All of those things, I mean, were definitely in the works by the time I got to first grade, and that's in the 60s. And it became big to recognize you're not seeing it for the first time, but now it's being made available to everyone. And that's where we come into, you know, what sides of the block is planning a purge with AI, you know, technology, and which side doesn't have computers, you know. So this technological world and the AI, it's here and it's been here, but now it's available for everyone. And that's what makes it. No, I wouldn't want no judge, because like you said, it can short out, and I was supposed to, you know, that 10 becomes 1,000, you know. So no, I wouldn't want those types. But again, AI is by the algorithms that is feeding it, and I just don't think that, you know, we in America are in a safe place because we just don't value humanity.
What's interesting about what you're saying, sis, is it's already here. And what happened, you know, everybody knows the Orange Man got convicted, right? And that's not why I'm wearing orange tonight, but the Orange Man got convicted, Trump. And one of the reasons why his case kind of imploded on him was because his lawyer got caught using ChatGPT. Did y'all know that?
No.
And the judge threw out parts of the lawyer's case, and I forget what it's called when you create the case. What is that called? Not discovery. What is that called? Discovery is the evidence, but what's
discovery is the evidence.
But let's put it this way: once the judge found out that the lawyer used ChatGPT to build his case, discredited the lawyer right away. That was the beginning of the end for Trump.
Wow.
And that's a factoid. That's a factoid that not a whole lot of people are building on right now. That's really interesting.
Enlighten me. What is that?
Check it out. So all of the lawyers' citations on the case were AI generated. Crazy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Brother Mozzie, what's your thoughts on that, man?
Oh.
Should the judge have accepted the AI generated citations? He was like, nah. The judge was like, nah, man, you gotta do your own work. What's your thoughts?
It's the same thing
Yeah,
as
for
a
real.
college student trying to use the AI to write a paper. No, man, you got to go write your own paper, man.
Yep.
You know, you spend all this time and everything else. Shows what you got. Do something else to make it up for you. But remember, in this country, man, there's over 1.6 million laws on the books, and I can guarantee you, we're probably breaking a dozen of them right now.
Right? How about it?
So we got to be careful of what we think would work out, because once again, for me to go look up and cross-reference 1.6 million cases is different than AI, who can generate and cross-reference those in a matter of seconds as the processing power becomes more and more robust. So we got to be careful.
Yeah.
Godspeed. There's an interesting factoid to this that you kind of brought up a little bit, and they experimented with AI magistrates during the pandemic, and a lot of people didn't know. And the judge, the AI judge, was 32% more efficient than the regular judges. The metrics show.
Sell it to us.
The metrics show, according to the research, and do I have that? Oh, okay. It's in this article here. You guys can read it. Algorithms could help improve judicial decisions. You guys can look up all of the factoids in there. But one of the factoids is that when they tried it during COVID, it was 32% more efficient. Because that's when they were trying, they were doing all the hearings online. So of course that's an immediate arena for the AI playground, of course.
What do they mean by efficient?
It was 30 because they say there was a lot of human error, and the judges, because of course they get all the metrics, they get all the data, and they showed that judges were impartial. Some of them made racial decisions that were unfair, that showed savage inequalities, all type of things like that.
But we know that's built into the AI. So what's going to be the difference? They can be more efficient at being racist.
Hey, I'm just bringing it up, bro. I want us to chat about it. That's the last little chat part of this whole, subject matter that we're talking about. Because according to the metrics that they just put out, the AI is 32% more efficient than human judges.
Well, again,
considering that most judges in America are alcoholics, I can see why that can happen.
Yay!
Alcoholics or pill poppers. I'm agreeing with you on that.
or pedos. I don't know if you guys remember that story. And
with the judge.
I don't know if it was Albany or New Paltz where they busted the judge and he had all these child tapes in his house and all that, child videos in his house.
Well, it seems like a lot of judges are all members of NAMBLA, but we won't go there on that. We'll stick to the AI.
With anything, I mean, if it's 31% efficient, again, it's about what algorithms are they picking up on. So did somebody make sure that there was not some, decisions made based on race, creed, and gender and sexual orientation and things? Then yeah, but again, who you asking to do it? I mean, your algorithms only speak. Like I've used AI, and the algorithms only speak the way I would speak in terms. But if I left out something important, like say leaving out old people, and it will come with everything but that word people, because I didn't feed it to it. I didn't feed that. So again, it's in the hands of the beholder. I mean, and now that everyone has access, it's just gonna be watching who's trying to do what.
Yeah, man. All right, y'all. I appreciate it. We have come to the end of the show because we are at overtime. And I don't want to take these good people's time up too much. I know we all got loved ones and things we have to do to prep for the rest of our week. I appreciate everybody who appeared for Hump Day that was on the show and took advantage of our Power to the People news. That's what we just kind of got into a little bit. And of course, I have much more planned. But of course, time flies when you're building with such brilliant people. And we appreciate everybody that came on tonight. Brother Godspeed, Brother Mozzie, Sister Aurora made a dope appearance and really added on to the show tonight in a big way.
Thank you. And thank you for the invitation. I was glad that I was sitting here saying, oh, this popped up.
Yeah, jump on Facebook and friend my show, The Real HD Show, and you'll get the notifications so you could jump on whenever we have a show and bring us some more of that brilliant wisdom so we can keep it popping. And for everybody on the show, anybody got anything they want to promote, anything going on in the communities that they want to get out, now's the time. Go ahead. Nothing popular.
I just want to promote more love, more peace. Treat each other. Let's treat each other better. Each one teach one, and each one treat each one better than they did yesterday.
Fire.
It's so good to see you, young brother, and know that's a reader. I know that's a reader. There wasn't a book unturned in my store. Okay. So, but I appreciate the invitation. Thanks for thinking of me, and I enjoyed it. Thank you, brother.
That was our after school. That was our after school.
That's right. That's
fire,
right.
Fire. Brother Mozzie, when is your next business mixer, bro? Talk to us.
Well, I have since left the Urban League.
Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, and moved on to greener pastures. An analyst for the city now, and so I'm in that capacity. So I'll still be working with businesses, just in a little different capacity now. But making sure that brothers and sisters got their act together, that some of the money flows their way.
Yes, sir.
But we still may be doing the business mixer anyway, but it may not be under the Urban League banner.
Gotcha. So look out for Brother if you're ever in Rochester, New York, look out for Brother Mozzie's business mixers. They're dope. Meet a lot of great people. Have a great time. Check them out. Just Aurora, anything going on? Are you still in Long Island? Are you still in the Hempstead?
I'm in the atmosphere.
Okay.
I'm in the atmosphere. No, as it right now, I help. If someone's promoting something, I always take their link and I'll promote it on my Here Comes the Dawn site as well. I'm waiting to get back into 2025 when my last child walks across the high school stage, and so my whole attention is on them. At this time, my whole attention is like, oh, and what's embarrassing? I mean, having owned the Black-owned bookstore and having all this Black art in my home and books, sometimes I'm like, oh man, I skipped. I didn't look at my own kids. You're supposed to be picking up that book and reading it. And so when I asked, I'm like, are y'all that far shallow? So I'm just embarrassed to have a 17-year-old, but a non-culturally responsive child. The other two they've been with me a little longer, but that one. So I said, oh, I see how we miss, because they're always with their phones. We gave it to them too soon. My excuse was, look, I wanted to make sure that they can to reach out to me and need me, when they're getting out of kindergarten class. So I take ownership in messing that up. But yeah, it's been a great life. The red pill and the blue pill, and it's that one that made me not decide to go back to bed. That's keeping me going.
Hey, that's what's up. Thank you. Please like, share, and subscribe. Timestamp what you liked about the episode and give us a comment, and turn on your notifications so that every time we put the show on, we can have a higher discussion. All right, we'll see you guys on Moon Day when we jump into some more crucial awareness and information on the Real HD Show. Peace and walk with power. We love y'all.
You.
We love y'all. Y'all have a great evening.
Okay, bye.
All right.
Teacher.
All right. Love on each other. Peace.
Peace.